Hey everybody, it's Z Power Hour here. Welcome to my first video ever on YouTube. Today we're going to be going over the Hyper Aggro list that I'm probably the most known for playing. And this is going to be including what I believe to be the updates for set 6 at the beginning of the format. With your 1-drops, we have Daisy Duck, Lilo, Chernobog's Followers, Diablo, and Maleficent Biding Her Time. The change we have from set 5 is the inclusion of our Diablo over the Magic Broom. Magic Broom will allow you to challenge a little bit into other aggressive matchups. However, seeing as that's not likely what we want to be doing in most cases, the Diablo feels much better. You can keep this character on board and quest with it more frequently because you don't have to meet the restriction to have a character enter play in order to draw your card. It's just when it's banished. Next, we have our 2-drops, Piglet, Pooh Pirate Captain, Maleficent, Vengeful Sorceress, and Pinocchio Star Attraction. For Piglet and Pinocchio, no real explanation needed. 3 questers for 2, obviously very good in the deck. There's a little bit of a restriction for Piglet, but you should have more than enough characters to meet that restriction. With Maleficent, Vengeful Sorceress, some people may want to play Pua, possibly, or some of the other 2-drops. I don't mind the other 2-drops that quest for 2 as 2/2s. However, with Pua specifically, since it shuffles itself back into your deck, it has the ability to dilute your best draws out of the deck, so I prefer not to play that card when possible. Moving on to the 3s, we have Baloo von Broomwald, Donald Duck Musketeer Soldier, and the White Rose. Now, been back and forth between a lot of cards for this 3-drop slot. If Amber Sapphire does tend to be a more prevalent deck for aggro matchups, you're probably going to want to play a couple Foxes in the list. I honestly believe replacing the Donald Ducks would be better than replacing the White Roses, simply for the fact that you still gain the same amount of lore upon entry with the characters. This bodyguard does not prevent you from getting blown out by Brawl. Same thing with Baloo, but Baloo gains 2 lore versus Donald's 1. Whereas the White Rose gets around Brawl, allows you to quest additionally, it trades with the Mim package. There's a lot of value in the White Rose. It may even be possible that we only want to run Baloo as our bodyguard and may lean into playing the other 3-drop 3/3 that you can give a character an additional lore in. I believe it's Chip or Dale. I can't remember which one it is, but from the newest set 6. And then finally we have 4 copies of Merlin Goat. Can't go wrong with the gain lore and gain when it enters and when it leaves. I mean, that's kind of what the deck wants to do it for. Just trip over itself to get across the finish line. Next to the non-character packages, we have Befuddle, I'm Stuck, and Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom for our actions. With Befuddle in particular, not the strongest card in the world, but it does allow you to maintain some tempo, whether you need it to untap a character you control in order to protect it from a challenge, or offset your opponent's Calhouns, or if you're in a race, you can tempo them off of their own Piglets or Annas or whatever it may be. I'm Stuck. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few people that runs this regularly. This is just extremely good in any matchup that wants to be bigger than you, more mid-range than you. Anything that wants to challenge you to gain lore, this is very good against. If you can put them off an extra turn, Calhouns, Goofies, Robin Hoods. This is very good against Ursula Deceiver of All after they sing and Green Steel. I'm very high on this card simply for the fact that it's a very cheap, efficient way to answer some of those threats for tempo. Next, we have Gathering Knowledge Wisdom, obviously. Gain 2 lore. Not the strongest card in the world. If I had another effect that did this, I might look at playing it over it if it was inkable. Thievery in red is not quite the same thing. However, this is what we got, so it helps us reach the line with a little bit of burn. Then you have the Bosses on a Roll. This has been very good in conjunction with the 3-drops. So I got to look at 5 cards and go, do I have a Goat? Do I have a Gather? Do I have another Rose? Is there any way for me to draw into a Chromacon, draw more? I mean, if I look at 5 cards and I have 4 cards I don't want in a Chromacon, I'm probably leaving the Chromacon on top, right? And then finally, we do have the Amethyst Chromacon. We don't really care how many cards our opponent has in hand when we win the game. So as long as I can win the game before you win the game, that's all that matters. There are some concessions. I've heard people discussing playing Lilo, Escape Artist, in this deck. Possibly. It is an interesting option. However, I don't think in the game plan for the hyper aggro deck, you want to be utilizing a 1/2 for 2, a quest for 2 that's recurable, because it comes into play tapped. And a lot of times the situations that you run into are, I need a character that's untapped for a Tinkerbell, I need a character that's untapped for a challenge, for Calhoun, for Goofy, Robin Hood again. So having a character that's required to come into play tapped is very difficult to want to play if it doesn't survive those kinds of challenges. That's everything I have for today. I'm looking forward to giving you guys much more content on the aggro side of things for this game. Hopefully, if you guys like the video or have any comments and suggestions to help me improve the content, please leave a comment below, and I'll catch y'all next time.